Single dad saved poor twin girls asked to sing at school as a joke, their voices left the room silent. The gymnasium was buzzing with laughter, chatter, and the restless energy of children waiting for the annual school talent show to begin. Parents filled the bleachers, teachers paced nervously, and the principal stood by the microphone with his usual fake smile plastered on his face. Toward the back of the stage curtain, two little girls, thin, pale, and wearing second-hand dresses that were slightly too big for them, clutched each other's hands. Their names were Emma and Grace, identical twin sisters with eyes too old for their young faces. They didn't have much. Their shoes were worn, their hair was tied up with mismatched ribbons, and most of the kids at school mocked them for being poor. What most people didn't know was that their father, Daniel, a single dad, had been working 2 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. He had lost his wife in a car accident years ago, and since then, he had carried the weight of parenthood alone, quietly, without complaint. Daniel was a mechanic by day and a night shift janitor at a local store, and despite exhaustion, he never missed a chance to be there for his daughters. That night, sitting in the bleachers among polished shoes and expensive coats, Daniel's hands were calloused, his work uniform still stained from grease. But his eyes never left Emma and Grace. Then, something happened. When the principal called the twins' names, a ripple of laughter spread through the audience. A group of older boys in the front row smirked knowingly. They had signed the girls up to sing as a cruel prank, assuming their ragged clothes and shy nature would make them targets of ridicule. Daniel's stomach twisted. He knew. He saw the cruel smirks. He wanted to run on stage, grab his daughters, and protect them from the cruelty of the world. But before he could move, Emma squeezed Grace's hand and whispered, "Let's do it. For Dad." The spotlight hit them, and for a moment, silence fell. The twins looked fragile, 2 small figures trembling before the sea of mocking faces. Then, in the hush, their voices rose. It was soft at first, pure, fragile like glass, but then it grew, blending in perfect harmony. A hymn their late mother used to sing at bedtime. The room froze. Every sneer vanished. Teachers stopped whispering. Even the boys who had laughed stared in disbelief. Their voices soared higher, carrying something raw, something real, something no glittering costume or polished routine could match. Daniel felt tears sting his eyes. He hadn't heard that song since his wife passed away. Hearing his daughters sing it together was like hearing her voice again, alive in them. By the time the last note lingered in the air, you could hear a pin drop. The entire gymnasium, hundreds of people, sat in stunned silence. And then, as though the spell had broken, the room erupted into thunderous applause. Some parents stood, clapping through tears. Even the boys who had mocked them couldn't find the courage to meet anyone's eyes. The twins looked out into the sea of faces, confused but glowing. Emma found her father's tearful eyes in the crowd. Grace whispered, "Dad, did we do okay?" Daniel, unable to speak, just nodded and mouthed, "You were perfect." But the story didn't end there. Among the crowd that night was Mrs. Turner, the school's retired choir director. She hadn't planned on staying long, but those voices, they shook something deep inside her. After the show, she rushed backstage. "Girls," she said, kneeling to their level. "Do you know what you have? Do you know the gift you carry?" The twins shook their heads shyly. "Your voices," she said softly, "are a blessing. And the world deserves to hear them." From that night onward, Mrs. Turner volunteered to coach them, for free. Word spread in the community, and slowly, the very same parents who once turned a blind eye began offering help, rides to practice, new clothes, even opportunities for the twins to sing at local events. Daniel was overwhelmed. For so long, he had felt invisible, working himself to the bone just to give his girls crumbs of normalcy. Now, for the first time, he realized the world had seen them. Years later, Emma and Grace would sing on bigger stages, their names carried far beyond that small-town gymnasium. But they never forgot the night it all began. The night they turned cruelty into courage. The night their voices silenced a room. And Daniel, tired, worn, yet proud, would always remember the moment he realized that sometimes, the world isn't changed by wealth, or power, or status. Sometimes, it's changed by the pure, unshakable voices of two little girls who refused to let cruelty define them. Message. True strength isn't in mocking others but in lifting them up. And sometimes, the most extraordinary beauty comes from the most overlooked hearts.